Cool.
Welcome, everyone, to another insightful and thought provoking live conversation. Today, we are joined by best selling author, filmmaker, and creative visionary Naresh Veeran to discuss his fascinating and provocative book, Nonsense. This isn't your typical book about spirituality or personal development. Nonsense challenges some of our deepest assumptions about consciousness, identity, freedom, and even the nature of reality itself. Through humor, storytelling, philosophy, and radical inquiry, Naresh invites readers to explore questions, that humanity has wrestled with for thousands of years. Who are we? Why are we here? And what if everything we think we know is only part of a much bigger picture? Prepare for a conversation that may challenge your perspectives, expand your thinking, and leave you questioning reality in the most fascinating way possible. Let's welcome Naresh Veeran. How are you, Naresh?
Go. I got a laugh
You
out
got
of you.
That's really radical, man.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Just send me cash. Just send cash. Just send cash.
Oh god, you're funny.
Yeah. I am. I am. I am. That's why I told the
Yeah.
story. It's a story of who am I and why am I here. Listen, it's got to be a joke at the end of the day, no matter how you look at this thing. So I decided to tell it as a story. And if, so this, I mean, the Zen tradition representing the pinnacle of understanding. And this was a bit of a finger to the Zen tradition, calling it nonsense.
Mm,
But I used the format of the Zen story to impart, a wisdom pearl. And where's the wisdom coming from? Listen, it's a story. I'm a musician,
mm,
I'm an artist, I'm a writer, I tell stories. And nonsense is actually a compilation of stories, the first one of which is Zen and the art of modeling clay.
wow.
So I think in the final version it'll become nonsense in the art of modeling clay, nonsense in the art of dreaming, nonsense in the art of BS, nonsense in the art of all of them kind of model on Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance. This was a book that was very successful back in the 70s, I think, 70s, yeah, early 70s or 80s. Also on this whole spiritual quest. And so that model of Zen storytelling is what I used to tell this one. And as you saw, it's a joke. It's meant to make you laugh, and hopefully, in your laughter, you see, the message of what it is. Like when a stand-up comedian's telling you a joke, and
Mm,
you're laughing because you know it's true, and because it's so true that you laugh, and you can't laugh at that reality in any other situation. But in the context of a stand-up comedian, a stand-up show, you will laugh at the Minister of Health. You will laugh at your country's defense spending. You will laugh at your policies. You will laugh at your children. You will laugh at being black, white, green, yellow, whatever it might be within a particular context. But take away the context and, the laughter kind of stops because the reality of those things are no longer funny. So too is it with my story. If you can separate the story from the funny and the and
mm,
it's really it's a romp, it's a ride. And if you get yourself away from the ride, then you can see, listen, that's where the real value is. But having said that, uh, I'm very interested to see what kind of response there's going to be because it's not going to be launched in South Africa. It's only Europe, Europe, US, Canada. It's a very different. It's a niche within a niche within a niche. It's not just spirituality or religion. It's about a very particular interpretation within spirituality, within religion, within our understanding of who we are and why we're here. This is like a bottom line strategy. What will success look like? And then backward engineer the whole thing. So the Zen way of looking at it is what is the bottom line? Are you going to be chopping wood and carrying water, uh, or are you going to be chopping wood and carrying water? Because you're still chopping wood and carrying water, no matter how you dress it up. And that's whole Zen thinking into their idea of spirituality, and they believe that in itself is the answer. There's no before and after. It really is a singular experience. Anyway, having said that, you have I seem to have veered off completely of the question. You just please just top it off again.
no worries. That's all right. So get the ball rolling with you, Naresh. In Nonsense, you challenge not only belief systems, but also non-belief and even unbelief systems. What was the catalyst that inspired you to question reality at such a fundamental level?
I'm telling a story. I mean, it's like asking Spielberg, why the aliens are green or something like that. Well, this is the machinations of an artist, a writer that's telling you a story. It's if I made a painting, or if I painted a picture of a family, and what inspired, I just paint. That's my job. The subject makes no difference. So I'm telling a
Mm,
story. Uh, the story is about Zen this week. Next week it's probably going to be a cooking. I don't know. The artistic mind is, like I said, when I met you online, I was a playwright, and somewhere along the line I turned into a musician, where you started and I chatting, and now we started talking about the book. And this is all within the period of what, 8 weeks?
mm,
It's not in that you can see. I don't even know myself where I'm going as an artist. It might be a sculpture. It might be a piece where I'm making collaboration with the Durban Film Office. So I just keep myself open for those kinds of things. And Zen and nonsense uh, is just my interpretation of the body of literature out there. If it were a story, this is what it'll look like and sound like, and feel like. And this is the emotions. And I try to say this, and to tell the story with as many, references to 2026, so cell phones and yoga teachers and, retreats and gurus and, all that kind of, all of those accessories to spirituality. You kind of click on all of those things. And so what inspired it is just the reality of spirituality today. It's just so interesting, especially living in South Africa, with mixed black, white, brown, and culturally and then spiritually, and then seeing that also on the world stage with Europeans and then Chinese and then Japanese and Americans and everybody looking at this in so many different ways. Who's right, what's true, and I mean, you got everything from basic, let's, pray, 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 to yoga, 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 to kind service, 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 to let's build temples and feed the millions, to whatever it might be. I mean, that spectrum is large. There's been so many perspectives. Mine is just a simple story. You either get it, like I said to you before, or you don't. And if you don't, it's a really cool story. Wow, very nice story. I liked it. It's like going to a Spielberg movie. I saw the aliens, da da da. But now I believe there really are aliens. Hey, maybe I need to check this guy's story out. Great.
wow,
There's a message there. Yeah,
awesome.
cool.
One of the central ideas in the book is that consciousness itself may be an illusion. What reactions have you received from readers when you invite them to question something they consider to be their most direct experience?
Yeah, we had a sample book club uh, that we
Okay.
tried. Um, yeah, it's a difficult thing to explain to someone, that the basis of what you believe to be true may not be true. Is it possible to keep that door open just for a thought experiment? Can we just talk about it, the possibility? And you find that a minute into that conversation, no one is willing to have the conversation thereafter, because you're
Mm,
challenging things that you hold dear to you, things that you have staked your life on, have made decisions based on where you're going to work, how you're going to live, what clothes you're going to wear, the kind of beard you're going to have. Do I dye? Do I not dye it? Glasses do I go for tortoise shells? Every single decision you make or you will ever make comes from a sense of identity and belief. And when those things are threatened to shake in any way, uh, it's time to rock and roll. um, yeah. So yeah, in a nutshell, the reception has been: is this guy disturbed? Is he okay? He's talking crap to people pissing themselves off laughing, like laughing at the idea that it could be true. Listen,
Oh,
imagine if this was true. I mean, it really would be funny. It's a joke of ultimate jokes if it is true. And to the other ones, where tell me more. I am also getting that. What are you saying? What do you mean exactly? Because remember, if you unpack a story, there's layers upon layers upon many layers, and if you open those
mm,
layers, it's an infinity packaged in a conundrum, wrapped in a puzzle, dressed in a confused muddle of perceptions and interpretations that you now get to unravel and get to say, listen, what's at the center of the whole thing? And that's the story. I'm saying there is a center of the story. You're happy, and you'll get it. It's not brain surgery. It's a story, and you either get, like I said, if you get it, if you don't get it, and if you do get it, it doesn't mean that. It means you understand it. It doesn't mean you know it for yourself. It's not like
mm,
you flew to this place and did, but you understand. At least we understand the Christian perspective, we understand the Islamic perspective or the Jewish perspective. We may not agree with it, we may not practice it, but at least we understand it. Or the Hindu perspective, or the Muslim, whatever it might be. Um, Understanding is important as well. At least you know the basis on which decisions are made, and things are being done and so on. So understanding is important. So yeah, that was the reception on that on that reading.
awesome. The recurring metaphor of clay represents humanity, identity, and existence. Why did you choose clay as a vehicle for exploring such profound philosophical and spiritual concepts?
Yeah, the clay story. It's not like I chose clay. I was trying
Mhm.
to tell my daughters a story, and they
Okay.
were the two of them. I was thinking about 11 or two. No, this is more. No, no, 13 or 14. And so in school in South Africa, we don't call it modeling clay. We call it plasticine. And so there was a plasticine that I found, and I said, now let's take this plasticine and let's make a table and let's make a chair and let's make a cup and all of that. Now, is the table different from the chair? Is different from the cup? Yes, that's a table, that's a chair. I said, but they're all made of plasticine. Can you see that? Yes. But so is it a table? Yes. And is it plasticine? Yes. So it's both. Yes. But is it and so kind of to get them into that method of thinking of things, of the non-separateness and the interrelatedness of things. Modeling clay is the easiest example because it's used in preschools. So it was a preschool kind of story that that kind of created for them. So this is very much blowing up that story into its logical conclusion. What would that look like for an adult to read it? And that's what it is. Once upon a time, you went to sleep and you had this dream, and I did this dream, da 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 happened, and so on. Um, and you get to meet all your favorite heroes and your gods and and your experiences, your mystical experiences, and so on. So we try and tackle, or I try and tackle all of those themes, all of those themes and issues and ideas in the story. But you may 90% of people will probably miss those if it's not of your if you're not interested in that kind of thing. But if it's something that does interest you, you're gonna love this because man, if you're into non-duality, if you're into the Advaita system, into yoga, uh, if you like drinking pina coladas in the Cape, you're not into yoga. Never mind, that's a 90s reference, 70s reference. Anyway, if you're one of those people, you would love this book. And I think because of not just the references as well, the way in which it's unpacked with these references. Cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's a really fascinating book, and it's also quite a short one. It's about 49 pages from what I could
Yeah,
remember when
this was
you.
again. This was just a sample chapter that was completely ring fenced with the introduction and all of that. What it'll become is 4 or 5 other stories
Okay.
on top of that. But listen, they're all going to say the same thing. The message is still going to be the same thing. The second one is Zen and the Art of Dreaming, and it's about someone who goes to sleep and has an experience. And when they get up and wondered, hey, what if this is a dream? like that. I mean, there I could fly, yeah, I could walk. What if in my real life I can, and then the guy kind of unpacks the turtles and go all the way. Because the
Wow.
dream metaphor has been used by, the dream metaphor has been used before Confucius. The
Mm,
Upanishads mention it. I mean, the Advaita Vedantas do it. The non-dualists do it. The dream metaphor comes up in Islam. It comes up in Judaism. It comes up in all the major religious traditions. And I thought it very cool to take that and tell it a really cool story, a fantasy, ultra fantasy. So what you read at Zen is the art of modeling clay. Can you imagine that now as a dream fantasy, wearing pink satin gowns and flying and being able to talk to trees and all that?
mm. Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
You describe liberation as freedom, even from the idea of being free. How does this differ from traditional spiritual teachings about enlightenment and self-realization?
Uh, yeah, we are honestly talking about two different things. Listen, let's work backwardly. uh, talking about Freudian slip there and spirituality.
Oh,
Listen,
all right.
what would success look like if the Buddhists and Hindus are right? What would success look like if the Christians are right? I mean, think about it as a strategist. I used to be a commercial strategist, with a listed company, and you have to look at the bottom line. Now, I'm saying, what is the bottom line of the Hindus and the Jews and the Christians and the Muslims and the scientists and the neuroscientists? There is a bottom line to who we are and why we're here, according to each of those traditions, including science. And science is we're at a stage where we don't know right now,
Mm,
right? And the Christian, according to the Christians, we do know who we are, and there's us and there's a them and there's a place there and there's a place here and all of that, and that's very much the Abrahamic tradition. And then you come into the East, Judaism, Hinduism, Jainism, and all of that. What you have, there's no separation. The thinking is there was never. What you have is a dream, an aberration. The matrix in a sense. So now, question is, what would success look like? That means if the Hindus and Jains are right, and the Buddhists and the East basically is right and correct about this whole thing, it means that there's the idea of a person, of a Siddhartha and a Naresh being two individuals, is part of the illusion, is part of the bullshit that keeps the story going. And if they're right, there's no such thing as a person. So the concept of I doesn't exist in reality. So when you say I am that, who the hell is that? There's no I. I am means that there's someone that does exist or something that does exist. But the contention of the East is Shiva, not a thing, nothing.
mm,
So how the hell can you be that? That means there's a you and there's a that and you are that.
mm,
No, 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 no. Yeah, it's completely integrated. Now, what I'm saying, the stories are getting muddled because they're being mixed with religious dogmatism. They're being mixed with stories and beliefs that, without evidence, without personal experience, and you know what happens after that? You kind of fuel a certain kind of fire, and then you believe you are that fire at age 40 or 50 or 60 or 70. That is not
mm,
the case. And the only way to understand that, I am saying, is through stories.
mm.
You might not agree with it, but you say, hey, wait, that is another perspective there. Maybe not eating so much of food might be a good thing for me. Maybe, exercise might be a good thing for me. My daughter is Muslim. And I said to
Oh,
her, one of the best things, yeah, Amira, she's 20. Well, my ex-wife was Muslim. And
okay.
so she asked, we both are into Tai Chi and Kung Fu and, mixed martial arts and stuff like that. And she says, Dad, now how do I keep my fitness levels going, during the day? Because because she's really training hard. So I said, as a 21-year-old, the best thing I can recommend to you is to read your namaz 5 times a day. She says, what do you mean? I said, think about it as physics, biology, and physiology in a single 20-minute sequence. Take away the words and listen to the music. Hands up, hands together, crossing, straight back, bend down, in ruku, up again, down to your knees. The way in which, if you look at the yoga of the namaz, if you look at the tai chi of the namaz, if you look at the energy and the meridians and the way in which it flows, it is the best thing you could do for your body. Take away the dogmatism, the religion, and take away the words. Like I said, just listen to the music. What you have there is a physical body-based experience that stretches all your muscles, lubricates your joints 5 times a day for 20 minutes, 100 minutes a day. You're getting a free workout for 100 minutes a day for 20 years, for the rest of your life. You would never need the gym. You will be Bruce Lee. So that's exactly what I told her. I said, you read your namaz, you get it perfect. And when a Muslim says, paradise lies in the perfection of your namaz. Now you understand. The more perfect your posture is, the more perfect your vertebra sit, the more perfect in which you carry the weight of your body as you squat, as you raise your body just by squatting without assistance. Man, that is an experience that people pay for. Now I can say the same thing. If you give me a Christian and ask me what to do, ask how would you do it? I can give you the same thing. It's not a religious thing. These are just ways in which you can negotiate life without the dogmatism, and you still get the full total benefit. Not that anyone's wrong, but what would success look like is what I'm asking. What would success look like for you if this goes to its logical conclusion? What will the end look like? And the end for the East is there's no person, there's no individual. What you have is a whole lot of stuff happening with no one making it happen. That's just the way it is. And if you go on the other side of the world, yes, there's someone making it happen. And we know his address, and we know his birth date, and we know he's got children, and he's got a son who was nailed, and. So it's believers. I'm saying, and the story is saying, look at it for yourself, at yourself, by yourself, for yourself. Examine your own life, and stories like this make you wake up to certain realities. Hey, wait, the emperor is not wearing clothes. Someone has to tell you that. So the story is telling you that. If you don't want to look and you're bluffing yourself, no, it's a Punjabi and can't you see the gold lying? No, I'm sorry, I can't see it. You're bullshitting yourself. Come on, let's move on now. You know what I mean? It's 2026 now. It's not the year 26. It's come on. So we're not poking fun at Virgin, we're poking fun at stupidity. I'm poking fun at being an idiot in 2026. It's time to wake up and smell the freaking coffee, man. Come on. You cannot buy a house and tell the bank, believe in me. I will pay you. Believe in me. I'll give you the word for you to pay. Believe in me. No. The bank requires evidence. It requires bank statements. It requires blood samples, urine samples, stool samples, all of that just to open the account. By the time you buy a house, you owe your bank your life. They own your soul 20 years later. The reality. Now, but if you choose a God to believe it, no, I just believe it. No evidence, no 3 months bank step, no. Whatever you say, yes. Whether it's true or not, whether it's I'm going to make decisions based on my marriage, my partner, my house, where I'm going to work, where I'm going to live, all that based on something that actually I haven't seen the bank statements. No, I haven't seen the backup. I don't even know it's true. I'm just believing it. It must be true. My mother said it's true. My father said it's true. My teacher said it's true. Hey, dude, have you watched TikTok lately? It's not true. Wake up. Okay, enough of that.
I was just going to ask you, so what did your daughter say when you told her about that whole namaz thing? Did she buy into it?
Listen, she did it anyway. I'm just saying,
Wow.
to her, do it consciously and do it in a way in which you realize you're seeing it as something that's physically benefiting you in that moment.
Mm.
Because you are studying,
Okay.
he's a 21-year-old law student. And I'm saying to you,
Okay.
studying, you're highly stressed, you're working, you've got law school, data, all of this happening. Take that time for yourself. That's what the prophet intended, I am certain, is to take that 20 minutes for yourself. Rinse your hands, let the water, let life run over you as you clean yourself, your ears and your head and what happens is it's a personal experience that is transcends religion. And if you can do that in any, whether as a Hindu, when you go to the temple, you have to be clean. No, I'm saying you're having a bath, it's taking the process, the oil, all of that, all those rituals are personal rituals versus the other rituals of carrying fruit and external rituals of, turning up at the temple and, you know, uh, breaking coconuts or turning up to church on Sunday or Friday at the mosque. I'm saying you need to live the spirituality and this kind of thing it's a way of life. It's just your life. It can't be separate. There's nothing separate between you and all the elements that make up your life. That's all I'm suggesting, and that's what the story is telling you as well. In a way that you should be able to, okay, makes sense. Or that guy's talking absolute crap.
Throughout the book, humor, satire, and irreverence are used to explore subjects that many people regard as sacred. Why was it important for you to approach these topics with both seriousness and humor?
Because I know nothing about physics, chemistry, and biology. Really, if I knew those things, I'd talk about it. Listen, this is me,
Okay.
and I'm saying I use whatever tools I have.
Hmm.
If I was a science kind of person, I'd be using neuroscience, chemistry, and biology to explain this to you, and probably if I was a pharmacist, it would probably, if I was a doctor, what I'm saying. If I was a plumber, I'd probably rewire your your homes. I don't know, but the point is, this is all the tools I have. So that's, and I'm an entertainer. I'm a performer, a musician, an artist. That's a writer of thoughts and things and ideas. So these are my tools, and I've just deployed them to make you laugh and to bring some joy and make you happy, and hopefully that happiness is also something left to take away home after that. A gift that keeps on
Lovely.
giving.
All right, before I get to my final question, there's a comment question for you here. This is from Resh Chitan. Hi, Naresh. I would believe that in today's world, the whole make-believe system of superstition, does it exist?
I wonder, what is she asking? What if does superstition exist? Well, I mean
Yeah,
that's obviously.
yeah, she's saying, hi, Naresh. I would believe that in today's world, the whole make-believe system of superstition, does it exist? That's her
Oh, doesn't
question.
exist. Oh,
Yeah.
well, listen. Again, what will be my experience and your experience are completely two different experiences. What's true for you is what's true for you. So, the question is, if you say it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. I'm not. It makes no difference what I believe to be true. It's belief versus what you know to be true. And all the time, have you experienced it? No. Well, listen. We are superstitious also at so many levels that we are now. It's part and parcel of human life. You're walking under a number ladder. I mean, think about that. When last have you done that? Or what's the other superstition? The famous ones. Well, anyway, but that kind of thing. There's some very simple ones, and then of course you get the big ones. Of don't do this or don't do that, or if you're a woman and you're menstruating, you shouldn't be praying. And
Yeah.
however, and again, I just think there's so many levels to how these stories are constructed. You just need to experience it for yourself, by yourself. That's what the book says as well. You need to understand this for yourself and by yourself and for nobody else because you came here alone. And I promise you, you are leaving alone, guaranteed. So, Everything else just gets left behind. So go and find out for yourself. And if it's important to you, it's important to you. And if it's not important to you, it's not important to you. But does superstition exist? Yes. Doesn't exist? Doesn't it? If you ask me, is black magic true? The question is white magic true? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Who cares? But if you care about that, care about something else, try something new. Anyway,
Awesome. Yeah. Finally, if a reader chooses, closes nonsense and is left questioning everything they thought they knew about themselves, consciousness, God, and reality, what do you hope they do next?
just laugh. Honestly, the appropriate response is absolute freaking laughter, because Siddharth, the story is giving you an insane proposition, and if you get it, it's freaking funny. It's the funniest thing you've ever known. It's nothing funnier than this. What I'm saying, and if you don't get it, it'll be okay. Yeah, you know, it's like those sitcoms where we all smile through it, and you just go like this. It's you don't hate it, but you don't like pay money to watch it again. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But yeah, I don't cool. I saw it. Yeah, I saw the Mona Lisa. Very nice, like a picture. Now I'm gonna buy a print of it now. I'm not gonna bid on the Mona Lisa. So it's got to be very weird. But like I said, success for me with someone reading this at the end of it, you know, having a 3-day laughing fit, saying, you know, Laurel and Hardy, you know, pointing at the accident and holding their mouths and laughing, you know, it's that type of. I think that would be the ultimate. Um, the other option is someone really the other someone stopping and saying, "Hey, wait, say what? Say it again." So that's another appropriate. I think that would be number two on the list of outcomes I'd love out of this. Is someone saying, "Say that again slowly, please, in English." This is a story of what? Uh, 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 because then I'd like an opportunity for someone like that to contact me and say, "Listen, tell me another story." Because I understand cars. Explain it to me in the form of cars now. Or someone says to me, "Listen, I'm a Jew, you know. Explain this to me in in terms of a 5,000 year outlook on life." Or someone, I'm saying there's lots of ways to explain this here, lots of stories to be told, but they all point to the same damn thing. There's nobody home. The lights are on. Just enjoy the ride. There's nobody coming. This is it. And the story is telling you that in so many different ways. It's not a bad thing or a good thing for anyone, because it's realizing, looking for your phone under the bed with your phone light on, and you go for it hours and hours looking for it, and then when you realize you always had it, the question was, did you not have it in those hours? No, you had it. You just didn't know you had it. And now all
Mm.
that's changed is that you have it. You know that you have it. But the actual
Mhm.
physical in your hand has not changed. It's a perception thing. You look outward all the time, but now you look inward, you saw it. That's what the book's asking you to do. That's all. Makes sense?
Awesome. Yeah, it's very fascinating. And yeah, all
Yeah.
I gotta say,
So you say?
no, you first, you first.
I was saying, if you look at the story, that I was driving on my way here, and I was thinking about a soccer game. So
Okay.
it's like we have a England versus France. It's a big match, and the prize money is 100 grand. Now the English turn up. The English team turn up at the match. They've got a full team of 11. They've got 4 or 5 reserves. They've got a separate goalkeeper, a separate reserve, a couple of coaches, and the full team of a full busload of people that come from England, and they arrive at the grounds. And the French team is England versus, let's say, England versus Italy. You've got thousands and thousands of people in the stadium ready to watch this match. So when the Italians don't turn up, what the English do is decide, let's divide ourselves into two and still play the match. So you be the Italians. What I'm saying is the other team doesn't turn up. If one team divides itself and plays itself, has there really been a game between England and France? Has it really happened? I mean, the kind of rapturous, the rapture that English fans show all over the world, is it going to be really fever pitch when the English win that match? Are those players going to celebrate Dubai style that night, knowing that they won the World Cup that day? I mean, knowing that the other team are guys that you're going to be showering with later, is very different from this are my enemy, and we're going to. The dynamics at every level of the engagement completely change when you remove that element of separateness to the whole thing. That's why life is boring without salt and pepper. That's perhaps why life is the way it is. Because you can understand, otherwise it is literally playing with yourself, so to speak, in a very, very strange way. That's what it is. It's infinity being infinite in every possible infinite way. There's no you and a me and a us and the whole thing. We just get to be the fragrance of this version of what's happening. I mean, if you look at the other example, the story of the dream, and I'm saying you're in the dream, and in the dream you're a doctor that works with animals, a veterinary surgeon, right? And you're able to fly, and in the dream you do a lot of your consultations in the air, injecting the animals and so on. And in your dream, you're wearing a pink satin gown and a purple mask, and you are now thinking about expanding your veterinary practice to have a botanical practice as well. So you start doing plants as well. Now, I'm saying in the rules of your dream, it's the most natural thing to fly. It's the most natural thing to be wearing a pink or mauve satin gown in public. It's the most natural. What I'm saying, the rules, the physics, the biology, the physiology of the dream is all understood. It's never questioned. Everybody agrees. It's only at some point. I mean, think about this. If you're in the middle of a dream flying, you say to yourself, hey, this is so cool and so easy. I must remember to do it when I'm awake. And it's at that moment you realize that you're dreaming. And then when you realize that you're dreaming while you're dreaming, you notice it's not only a joke, but it makes no sense for you to carry on the rest of the story. And if the rest of the story does carry on, you're completely detached. The highs are no more the high, and the lows are no more the low in a dream, once you know that you're dreaming. Now, when you wake up the next day, it's a funny thing. Hey, I was able to fly. Hey, I was able to heal people. I am a clerk working at a Checkers warehouse, the head office. And here I was a doctor, fixing animals in the middle of, and you think of all that. Now, imagine if you was a person called Siddhartha Haribai, a podcaster, or imagine how you're going to laugh at yourself if all of this is a dream, number one. And number two, how fantastic must your other life be, the reality, for this to be a dream? For us to be able to walk, talk, think, have pets, eat, have mortgages. How different must reality be for you if this is a dream? And what are we suggesting is that another layer is another layer, and we say it's infinity. That goes on all the way. And where does freedom come from? Is understanding that's all a dream. And another way to do it is what I'm saying is stories through the ones I presented here. Every tradition has it, including science. There's lots of ways in which you can see this for yourself, by yourself, through your own traditions, your own cultures. It's just taking the time is what the book is suggesting. Yeah, makes sense.
Wow, that's really fascinating. Thanks so much for your time, Naresh, and I hope to, as usual, see you again.
You definitely will. Yeah, definitely. Take care,
Take
man.
care.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Really appreciate it. All the best.
Awesome.
Cheers. Thank you. I'll close that here.